Going against what the handsomest PTCGL player previously predicted, the two free decks on the Phantasmal Flames Battle Pass will be Mega Charizard X EX and Mega Sharpedo EX. The set goes live on Thursday, November 13th at 9 AM Pacific, 12 PM Eastern because live doesn't adjust with stupid daylight savings, so the daily reset is an hour earlier than normal now. When you log into TCG Live for the first time after November 13th, you'll be given this Mega Charizard EX deck for free. As a bonus, if you already own 4 copies of any of these cards, the excess will be converted to trade credits. Since you're probably already maxed out on things like Arven, Lilies, Trolley, Ultra Ball, and Bosses, expect a few hundred bonus credits as a result. For the deck itself, it's good, not great. They opted for Precious Trolley over Buddy Buddy Poffin because it includes the new 80 hit point Charmander, which can't be found with Poffin. Oddly though, they chose the old Charmeleon rather than the newer, better one. We also have 2 Oricorio EX plus 2 copies of Fire Breather, which seems unnecessary while Earthen Vessel is in standard until March. Looking closer at the strategy, it's fairly obvious. Get Mega Charizard into play as quickly as possible, which in turn activates Oricorio's ability. Provided you have a Fire-type Mega in play, Oricorio can accelerate all Fire energy from hand to your bench Fire-type Pokemon however you want. That's perfect for Megazard, who does 90 damage times the number of Fire energy you discard from your Pokemon. From there, take big one-hit KOs against everything since you only need to get rid of 4 energy to deal 360 damage. There's also 1 copy of the old Charizard EX who not only accelerates energy into play, but is a great backup attacker as well, dealing up to 330 damage while only giving up 2 prizes, not 3. While the 2 copies of Fire Breather are a nice addition since it means you own them for free, Earthen Vessel just seems better. Fire Breather's your supporter for turn and all it does is get energy. Sure, it's 7 energy, but that's overkill like an overly powerful attack in Final Fantasy X. The only real benefit is that it can be used under item lock, except with no way to manually search for it aside from a single Pokegear, you're mostly relying on luck, or you can add a Tatsugiri or run Pidgeot EX. Either or. The single prize backup attackers meanwhile are both good. Reshiram can deal 240 damage for 4 energy, meaning it one-shots Raging Bolt. Unfortunately, the only reliable way to power it up is by having Megazard and Oricorio in play so they can always target those in retaliation. And then there's good old Chi-Yu. If somebody was just knocked out, it can one-shot a Golden Doe or Teal Mask Ogerpon for 2 fire. Looking at the baby boys, the new Charmander is fine as a one-of. It has 80 hit points, potential free retreat, and can one-shot Badoo for a single energy. But it's not Poffin searchable. So 4 means you have to run Trolley as your A-Spec, which is less than ideal. As for the Charmeleon, they went with the old one that has 90 hit points and is protected against effects of attacks. You definitely want to use the new one with 110 hit points in most cases, as it can also deal 40 damage for a single energy. The last new card to talk about is Battle Cage. This is going to be an extremely important card for the next couple of years, helping you deal with the most oppressive Pokemon in Standard. Basically, once you step into the Battle Cage, your entire bench is protected against the attacks and abilities of Pokemon who place damage counters. That means Dragapult, Dusknoir, Munkidori, and more are rendered mostly useless. Yes, they can just bump the stadium or blow you with a torch to get rid of it or target your active, but if the cage sticks, your chances of winning just skyrocketed. If you want to upgrade the free Mega Charizard X EX deck, there's 2 ways to go about it. Either adding a copy into an existing Charizard EX deck or trusting your pilot and building a full deck around it. Luckily, the cost is low either way. Because as you may recall, this Charizard EX deck is still free to everybody until March 2026. Let's start by upgrading that old Zard EX deck. Using this first place Japanese list, you can see that not a lot is added. It's basically just 1 Megazard, 1 Oricorio, and that's it. You'll also notice that there's just 6 Fire Energy plus 2 Jet, whereas the Battle Pass Megazard deck has 11 Fire. Again, Mega Charizard only needs to get rid of 4 energy to deal 360 damage. With a superior energy retrieval and 2 Super Rod, you'll be fine as long as you manage your resources properly. If my math is correct, I think all you need to do is craft 2 of the new Charmeleon for 200 credits and you're done. Everything else should already be in your collection. And anything you might be missing like Briar or Turo Scenario is just 100 credits each. You'll find lists in the description for all the upgraded decks, which you can import into Live once Phantasmal Flames is active. Moving to the upgraded version focusing on Megazard, it basically just melds the 2 free Zard decks into one glorious creation, sort of like when I accidentally superglued my butt cheeks together. You will need to craft the side deck for 400 credits if you don't already have it. If you've been listening to me, you should definitely already have it, and 1 Blowtorch to get rid of a pesky Stadium, Tool, or Special Energy. Aside from those, this version costs almost nothing to make. Then when you reach tier 50 of the Battle Pass, you'll receive this Mega Sharpedo EX deck for free. I thought we'd get Mega Gengar considering it's one of the mascots of the set, but clearly the Pokemon Company heard my prediction and couldn't let me have this win, so it's the Daddy Shark instead. Unlike the Mega Zard deck, you won't receive trade credits for any cards you already own 4 copies of. Don't ask why, that's just how it is. Anyway, the deck itself is awesome. It's basically everything you could want, including a 3/3 Sharpedo and 4/3 Toxtricity line. Though there are a few improvements you can make, like how you might not want to be jocking off twice. In case you've forgotten, apparently Mega Sharpedo has multiple Jaws because its second attack, Hungry Jaws, does 120 damage for 2 darkness. That's rougher than a cat's tongue trying to get all the peanut butter off your feet. But if Sharpedo has even a single damage counter on it, 120 turns into 270. You achieve that boosted damage with Toxtricity, who accelerates a darkness energy from deck to a bench darkness Pokemon at the cost of placing 2 damage counters on it. Do that twice, manually attach to Munkidori, heal 30 of the 40 damage from Sharknado, and start taking KOs. Now, obviously 270 damage isn't ideal, but add the 30 from Munkidori and that's 300, which still isn't ideal. That's why you need Gravity Mountain. This brings things like Dragapult and Charizard down to 300 or less hit points, putting them in Sharpedo's range. Slap a maximum belt on your Pedo, now nothing's safe. You will have to rely quite heavily on Monkey Math to win though, so make sure to keep an Abacus nearby. There really isn't much else to the deck. The only real spice is in the form of Seviper. Provided Mega Sharpedo's in play, the snake can deal 240 damage for 3 darkness. You'll have to use at least 2 Toxtricity to make that happen, but it is one of the best single prize attackers in the game. Because the strategy is fairly simple and straightforward, the upgrades aren't crazy. This recent first place list from Japan, for example, is eerily similar to the free build. It just swaps Maximum Belt for Legacy Energy and goes for a slightly more aggressive start featuring Carmine. Or there's this list with a 3/3 Toxtricity and Heroescape. However you decide to play Mega Sharpedo, the core strategy is the same. Use Toxtricity to damage it, Munkidori to heal all but 10 damage, and Gravity Mountain to help deal with higher HP Stage 2s. Everything else is up to personal preference, just like which peanut butter you decide to buy. Now that we know all the free cards in the Tier 0 deck, I can update the crafting guide. Previously, you would have needed about 9,000 trade credits to craft every good card in Phantasmal Flames. Taking away everything you get in the free Mega Charizard X deck, that number drops to about 7,500. And if you can wait until Tier 50 and the free Sharpedo deck, that removes an extra 3,000, as 3 Sharpedo costs 1,800 and 3 Toxtricity costs 1,200 credits. Basically, because Phantasmal Flames kinda sucks overall and has less than 100 cards, your credits are mostly safe. Oh, and since I have nowhere else to put this, I'll let you know the credit gain from purchasing the Mega Gengar and Mega Diancie Mega Battle decks from the in-game shop. Priced at 600 trainer points each, which is half of a lead battle deck, they're fairly disappointing in the credit farming department. Keeping in mind that I have a big collection, my first purchase of the Gengar deck netted me 230 trade credits, with the second 275. That jumped to 735 for the third and fourth, since I'd obtained 4 copies of Mega Gengar by that point. Mega Diancie, meanwhile, topped out at 675 trade credits for my third and fourth purchases. To put these numbers in perspective, Mega Gengar is just ahead of the Gardevoir EX League Battle deck if you were to buy 2, while the Diancie deck is the overall worst. You do already need to own 4 copies of every card in the decks to get these numbers you see on screen. And with a shop limit of 4, things get even messier because the economy in PTCGL makes no sense, and even when I try to explain it, I get confused. All you really need to know is that Celebrations packs are still by far the best for long-term credit farming. It's also worth noting that the Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX Lead Battle deck was supposed to release today in live, except it never did. The dev probably forgot, like how the world forgot about Mewtwo EX even existing in the first place. While we don't know the name yet, PokeBeach has revealed that our next set after Phantasmal Flames will be out on January 30th. It will likely feature Mega Dragonite EX, and we should know more about it in a day or two, so stay tuned for a video. Just keep in mind that it'll be a special set, not a main set, which means it should contain several new arts for old cards that scalpers go crazy for because that's all the physical Pokemon TCG has turned into. A battle royale at Costco and Target to see who can beat off everyone else the fastest. What this means for you is that the Phantasmal Flames Battle Pass free decks will only be available until January 29th. We should then get our first main set of 2026 in late March or early April, which will begin the J block of cards. That same day, all the G block cards, including Charizard EX and Pidgeot EX, will leave standard forever due to rotation. What do you think of the free decks? Take off your uncomfortable socks, free those grippers, and type your answer in the comments using your toes.